Hello viewers, Masood Khan, welcome you to watch Branding Bangladesh. Branding Bangladesh is a kind of show where we talk about Bangladesh's development. You know, Bangladesh has emerged the long way. Over the past few years, you have seen how radically Bangladesh is emerging. So with this, we have done this show, Branding Bangladesh. Today we have invited a very distinguished guest, Major General Sarwar, who is a military secretary to the Honorable President. Let me read about his biography. Major General Muhammad Sarwar Hussain, PhD, after completing his early education from Shaheen School, Kumitola and Adamji Cantonment College, joined in the Bangladesh Army. He obtained a master's in management studies from Hyderabad University, India, and Doctor of Philosophy from University of Dhaka. Major General Sarwar held a number of operational staff and instructional appointments during his career. He has varied experience serving in the army within and outside the country. He has authored several monographs and articles on contemporary issues, random thoughts, and erudite collection of Major General Sarwar's ideas and themes viewed through a practitioner's lens in his first published book. The author at present is the Military Secretary to the Honorable President of Bangladesh. Hello, General Sarwar, how are you?
Good evening, and good evening to the viewers of MyTv. Thank you very much for inviting me to this wonderful show, Branding Bangladesh. I particularly appreciate the idea that you have picked up this topic to brand Bangladesh. It's certainly one of the golden chapters of our history, and is the sources of our inspiration, was, is, and will be for the generations to come. So I'm very happy to be here this
Wonderful.
This
you have done a remarkable job, especially you have written a book, 1971, about Liberation War. And the book itself, the title is Resistance, Resilience, and Redemption. The book has become popular by this time. Could you tell us something about your book?
1971.
Yes.
Resistance, Resilience, Redemption.
Correct.
Basically, see, we are into the 49th year of our independence, and there has been so many publications in the market or in the library or anywhere you go. But to have a very comprehensive and fair idea about the Liberation War, I think you will have to consult as many as 10 to 12 books.
Okay.
So for knowing in details about what happened in Chittagong, probably one would suggest you to read the book written by Major Rafiq. If you would like to know about the Kumilla Brahmanbaria episode, probably I would tell you to read the book of General Shafiullah, Bangladesh at War. Probably if you would like to have Pakistani perspective, then one would recommend you to read the book of Siddiq Salik. And if you want to know something about the Allied offensive, which was fought in the final stage of our Liberation War, you will have to consult all the Indian books.
Correct. Correct.
And if you want to know something about the disparities between the Eastern and Western wing, probably you will have to read some research work done by Professor Rahman Soban. So you see how difficult it is for a learner, for anyone who is in the university or in the school or even in the research arena, to know about 71. You will have to consult so many things. What I have done in this book is, I have brought everything into one. It's not easy to bring in everything into one book, particularly for two reasons. One is, the Bangladesh Liberation War was a war which was forced upon us. We were not prepared for this.
Correct.
And another reason is that we did not have any ready-made armed forces. As such, we had to begin from the scratch. So for these two particular reasons, the war itself and the narrative is very difficult. So as such, I have spent a lot of time to bring in all these into a comprehensive format, and that's the outcome of my entire research. This
Correct.
book is.
What is the inspiration or motivation to write such book, though you have not done, Liberation War or so? So what is the real motivation behind it to write such book? Yeah.
In fact, I have to go long back. In fact, when I was young lad, I was with my parents. I had been residing in Pakistan Karachi. My father, he was serving in erstwhile Pakistan Air Force as an airman. So I had lived in Karachi, Moripur military base. So in March 1971, in fact, I was only 6-7 years old. Correct. And I had no clue regarding the 1971. But one day in the morning, while I was taking breakfast, my mother, he showed me the picture of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman sitting in a sofa, flanked by two giant Pakistani military. So that is, and she narrated that he has been taken into the prison. So that is all about my 71 memory. And
in liberation where perhaps you were 7 years or 8 years old so far.
Exactly.
Yeah, correct.
And I was not even in Bangladesh.
Correct.
Then as time traveled, probably it's in December 3rd, 4th night, when the Indian started bombing on the military installations, declaring all-out war. That time, we all came out of our residence and took shelter in a very shallow trench, which was dug by my father. Every time he used to come back from the office, he used to dig it, and I used to sit beside and help him in whatever way I could. So we all took shelter in that trench. So as the night passed, correct, in the morning we all went out of the cantonment for a safer destination. By the time the country was liberated, I mean the eastern wing got independence. Okay. We were taken into prison. Then we came back to country, repatriated in 73. Right after coming to Bangladesh, we lived for a brief period in my ancestral house in the Chatpur. I hail from Chatpur. After about a year, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, he called everyone to join in the national rebuilding process. So as part of that, my father also came to Dhaka. We joined. And still very young, many questions in mind. And after that, you all know what we had in 1975, the disastrous, unfortunate event when Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman with the family members, they were killed. And after that, I had been growing, but I realized that there is a huge transformation in the political landscape of Bangladesh. And we kept on growing. And I used to like military and joined Bangladesh Army. Became a major by 1996. So almost 20 years passed. Okay. So entire this period, in fact, not only me, my elders, even my juniors, my generation, my predecessors, we all passed through a period of historical amnesia. We did not know history. We had many questions. Nobody answered. There was no transfer of knowledge in regards to 1971. Nobody told us how did it take shape.
Dear viewers, let's take a short break. Coming back soon. Hello viewers, again welcome you to watch Branding Bangladesh. We are talking to a distinguished guest, Ms. Jan Sawar. This is a month of language, you know.
Right.
We can very much remember the 1952, a group of heroes, they sacrificed their life for language. So if you could tell something about the language martyrs and the language movement, and of course the spirit of this month.
It's a great month, goes way back to the history. On 19th March 1948, when Jinnah declared that Urdu shall be the state language of Bangladesh, the students particularly, they came forward and they resisted all over. And eventually there was language movement at the cost of a lot of blood. This is one of the 4th largest language out of first 100 languages in terms of number of speakers. Correct. And it has been given the status of International Mother Language Day. That's a great pride for us as a Bengali. I think we should uphold the spirit of this
mother language, yes,
and we should carry this to the outside world. Since it is the International Mother Language Day, we must have a lot of publications on this. We can have movies.
Bangla language
Yes.
thorough research, they have invented that Bangla language is the sweetest language in the world.
Right.
Yeah,
Very
you
true.
know.
It's one of the sweetest language of the world. Is one of the languages based on the number of speakers.
True.
We are too many. So it's only thing that we need to speak our good things to the outside
Entire
world,
world, correct,
to brand our country, to brand our nationality. A couple of years back, I was involved with a project of which is called, there was a pictorial, historical as well as pictorial bilingual book, Ekushe.
Okay.
I was involved with that. With the project to prepare a small video clip, which we thought that it should be sent to the UNESCO countries so that they can, in a very short way, in a very brief manner, they come to learn about our language and also the strength of Bangladesh as a part of branding Bangladesh project when I was in my previous place of posting. And I also had a lot of shooting with Tariq Masood and Mishuk Munir from helicopters. We took
yes.
a lot of shoots of the Prabhat Ferry, then Cox's Bazar, and also other very important places. Unfortunately, before the movie could be completed, Mishuk Munir and Tariq Masood, they made an accident. So I would say that in this month, we must try all our best to highlight the contribution of the language martyrs, so that the younger generation and also all of us, we can take pride.
General Sir, there is different kind of opinions about Liberation War. So what is your remarks on it, particularly if you could tell something for the viewers?
See, the Liberation War, if you go by the timeline, from 25th March to 16th December, within this there is no debate, in fact. There were good deeds, there were bad deeds. The people who loved the country, they gave their life, and those who betrayed with the country, they sidelined or they have collaborated with the enemies. So it has to be understood in that perspective. So there is no debate, in fact. Again, there are debates whose role was how much. Like, was it only the military affair or the political leaders, they had the major role? In fact, if you read the history, if you even read my book,
correct,
we all say that it was a people's war. Yeah, it's truly so, because people from all walks of life participated in this war. Regular military were only 30,000,
correct,
and the rest about 1 lakh. They were all composing the farmers, students, political leaders, laborers, and people from all walks of life. But what happens is you don't see them in the narrative, because nobody has projected them in.
Very correct.
So it's very important in the history what you want to contemplate.
Correct.
You only want to contemplate the murders, rapes, plunders, or you want to highlight the story of valor, determination and willingness of this nation. So this book it focuses on that dimension, reading which you can take pride,
of course,
and the generations, they can take pride.
Hello viewers, let's take a short break, coming back soon. Hello viewers, so you're watching Branding Bangladesh. Well, I was talking to General Sawar. Bangladesh is doing pretty good in different sectors, as you said. And another very vital sector is women empowerment, you know. And for women empowerment, Bangladesh has become a role model to the entire world. So my question is, if you could tell something about the women empowerment issue here in Bangladesh.
I think we've done pretty well in women empowerment. If you go to top level and also to the lower level. Lower level, if you just consider about the ready-made garment sector, probably we have 40 lakhs women's, nearly 40 lakhs women serving in this sector. This is a huge number. 40 lakhs women serving means 40 lakhs women are being paid, and when you can earn, you are part of the decision making process, even if it is in a home. So that makes a huge change. Even go to the city, you see the women are riding bike, they are joining the offices, they are moving out of the offices at late night. So they are pretty much part of Dhaka life, busy life. So I hardly see any difference that we used to see before maybe 30-40 years back. So that way, women empowerment has made a significant difference in the lives of the Bangladeshis.
If you could tell something about your life.
I am a military general, but then my life is not very different than any other Bengalis. As I come from a very humble family because of my father's occupation. In the very early stage, I was in Pakistan. When we fought the liberation war, I was not here. But then that did not stop me researching on this very important subject. So as we came back from Pakistan with others, many others, I started living in Dhaka. And most of my childhood, I was in the cantonment neighborhood. So that had a great impact on my mind particularly. And that resulted in me being in military, in fact, because I had opportunities to see military life, see my father himself, and see the lives of the cantonments.
So you came from military
that
family,
influenced me in a great way, for which I joined military and joined in 1985, commissioned in December 1986. By 96, I was a major, already had done my staff college.
Okay.
And in 99, I got an opportunity to work with a museum as a co-researcher. So that is the time really I have discovered that yes, 1971 is a huge treasure. Is our pride, is our sources of inspiration. Was, now, and will be. But then, if you ask anyone, probably there will be very few who will be able to tell you exactly what happened in 1971, whose role was how much. And the many debates revolving this particular subject. The reasons are the historians have not done enough. I've written a lot of publications, like the army, it has its own publication, the APR, they have their own history, police, they have done their research. Likewise, the politicians, he has done it from political perspective, economist, he has done from economical viewpoint.
Correct.
But not a single book which would very easily, comprehensively tell you this is what happened, this was his role or this was their role, and this is the takeaway from this war. So that basically inspired me to write this book.
Excellent.
So I published the English version in last year January, and this year I had the Bengali version. And both in both the launching ceremony, the Honorable President of Bangladesh, Mr. Muhammad Abdul Hamid, he was the chief guest. It's a huge inspiration for me also. And I think if the younger generation, if every citizen, I would request them to have a glance on this. If they have time, they must read it, and I'm sure as they read it, they will take huge pleasure and pride out of this.
Thank you so much, Jan Sarwar, for writing such a great book, and I'm sure our young generation and all people of Bangladesh will be immensely benefited by your book. Thank you so much for coming on our show, Branding Bangladesh. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Dear viewers, so we are talking to Jan Sarwar. We have learned so many things about liberation war in his research, his military life, so much he told about himself. Thank you so much for watching this show. We welcome you to see our next show. Thank you very much.